As God revealed himself to Moses on Mount Sinai, so too hath Zack Snyder revealed but a glimpse of the glory of his Jared Leto Knightmare Joker. Also, we've got a release date for Justice League, we've got a name for the kid playing Tim Drake in Titans Season 3, and questions from you, dear listener. All that and a whole bunch more right after these words.
Need extra money for college? ISL Education Lending Scholarship Program provides $1,000 for college expenses. Registration is easy and no essay is required. Visit www.iowastudentloan.org/register to learn more. The scholarship is open to Iowa residents who are in high school and college students, as well as parents of those students. Register by November 30th for your chance at one of the 45 awards at www.iowastudentloan.org/register.
Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is now Hy-Vee Perks. Hy-Vee Perks members get members-only prices on hundreds of products store-wide every day. Get your free Hy-Vee Perks membership and start saving today. Bananas, Hy-Vee Perks price, 39 cents a pound. Hy-Vee Butter, Hy-Vee Perks price, $2.98. And Tide, Hy-Vee Perks price, $9.97. Make the switch or sign up today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 625. This is the podcast where we discuss the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we don't want it to be. If it's been released, it is fair game, so beware of spoilers. And welcome to the show. I'm David C. Robertson, and this, the man who has preemptively claimed his allegiance to the interstellar object Al-Mumu, Jason Goss.
Al-Mumu. Is that one word or two?
It's just one word.
Just the one word, Al-Mumu.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Are we spelling that with like M-O-O-M-O-O or?
No, it's O-U-M-U-A-M-U-A.
Oh yeah. It's a deeply different thing than I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard about this? This is a real thing.
No, not even close. What do you got?
A Harvard professor, this A.V. Loeb guy, is writing a book, Extraterrestrial, the First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth. Oh. And it's about to come out. But there, in 2017, NASA found what they thought was a natural occurring bit of space junk.
Right.
That based on the trajectory and the movement looked like it came from another galaxy.
Yeah.
So this guy is saying that it's the first sign.
Right. I think it was in 2017 too that it was reported that we had somewhere in Nevada, some camp in Nevada. It was like, yeah, we've got some material that, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it definitely didn't come from here. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that. And it's definitely shaped, like it's forged in some capacity. Yeah, we don't know. And then the next week they're like, I don't even know what took over the news that week. Fuck, I don't know. 2017
yeah.
Could have been crazy. But yeah, we just kind of went like, I don't know, shrug, aliens, I guess. Whatever. What's going on here? Oh, we're killing each other. Oh, great. Awesome. Oh, and we have no money. Oh,
fantastic. Come on. You know, it wasn't even like that. You know, it was, aliens. Well, what's Ariana Grande doing today? That's what it really was. Let's not get sidetracked into thinking that we're like more concerned with our own horse. Hey, no, we don't care. As a society, we don't care about our own bad things happening. I
forget where I heard this metric, and if someone can confirm or refute, please let me know. But the metric I heard at one point was that I forget which news outlet it was, but the weeks or days, I can't remember, that it was number one, like top headline in this newspaper, the Tiger Woods extramarital affairs scandal broke the record for 9/11.
That was a shocker. More lives were ruined by Tiger Woods being unfaithful.
Apparently there was less, what do they call it? Like it's news fatigue in general, but it's story fatigue or whatever it is. Apparently there's just an amount of time where you can print something, and it doesn't matter what it is. You could print impending doom with names and dates, and it just wouldn't matter as much. At some point, people are just like, okay, I'm tired of hearing about it. How many people died? God, 75 million? I mean, that's rough. But like, what else you got, man? Is there anything else going on over here?
Yeah.
And it's ongoing. More people are still dying. Okay, cool. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I hear you. But like, What's LeBron up to? I mean, anything interesting there? Or
Yeah.
yeah, that's
a basketball player, right?
Yeah, I'm actually deeply surprised you even recognize it.
You know why I know? Because he's in Space Jam 2.
There we go. In full circle, the news of Space Jam 2's release would usurp whatever freaking alien invasion we were imminently facing on day, what do you think, 34 of it being top headline?
I mean, why not?
We make it like 5 weeks in. I just don't. I mean, okay, fine. We're all going to die. Whatever.
Yeah, eventually.
What's streaming on Netflix? That's what I need to know today.
You know, with aliens, I'm way less concerned about dying and way more concerned about being the slave race. You know what I mean?
No, you say that, but half the time the slave race is kind of mindless, and that, it might be a mitigating factor there.
I mean, it might just be what we already do.
There's an argument for that.
Yeah.
I would love the idea that Darkseid finally gets here with the Antiloff equation and he uses it on us, and we just all look at him and shrug and go like, "We
It's
know."
capitalism.
Like we are. Did you not read a fucking history book before you got here? Go fuck yourself, man. We know about all that shit. Stop interfering with my fucking internet. I need to look some shit up.
Right.
I have some dog memes to get back to, if that's okay with you, Uxas. You got, is that your name? No? It's Darkseid now? Okay, yeah. Go ahead and fuck right off. Let me know when you're going to actually end everything. I'm going to save my bookmarks because it doesn't work. I can come back and pick this up later.
Yeah, I did. I said capitalism, but you know what? It's really anything that any governing body has a hand in. It's like, no, they're going to make the masses bored as shit to dull their senses.
Yeah.
It's any system. Eventually.
There's
no joy. There's no
art. I would
art.
stand by this too. I do not care which wing you come from, which leaning you come from. I would stand by this interpretation outright. If you don't think that the system that is in charge tries to make things really boring so you don't notice what's going on, you're out of your damn mind. It's a simple and easy trick. It's not even easy. You have to, it takes some art to be that boring. But it's a simple, very effective trick.
Yeah. And then because we're people and we crave new, I don't think they have to try that hard, because we do. We crave new experiences, and getting up, doing the same thing day in, day out. It does get boring and depressing.
At this point, an old phrase in the internet is TLDR. Mm-hmm. That's a phrase that's not even spicy hot mustard, man. It's over. That's
the phrase shit. Attention span is longer than most people's attention spans.
That is entirely possible.
All right. With that in mind.
Well, that's been fun. What do you
got? We have a new patron this week. Jason Smith. Old salt, The guy's been listening to our show and listening to Star Trek Ucast and become a friend of mine. He's a good man. He taught me how to love again. And
I realized I hadn't felt in 10 years before.
Right. It was sort of like an emotional version of life as a house.
Right.
But
is it life as a glass house?
No, it's just life as a house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a life as a glass house too?
I don't think so.
Because I could swear I had that VHS somewhere, but I could be very wrong.
Well, you have the parents who have all the Faith films, so probably, because
that's entirely possible.
Faith films like to rip off real movies.
That's a real thing. Yeah. There's a wall of Kirk Cameron at my parents' house. Just a wall of it.
Anyway, thank you to the patrons, including Jason Smith. If you want to join their hallowed ranks, $1 a month gets you every episode ad free. $5 a month gets you that, plus whatever else we decide to put up. Which it looks like we'll be putting up another warm up this week, which we've been on a pretty good roll since December of putting up new content on Patreon. And I'm actually proud of that. I can't believe we've kept it up.
Yeah.
Or I've kept it up. Sorry, I just realized you haven't put up anything specifically.
Nope, not me specifically.
I was like, no, why am I giving us the credit? It was all me.
I'm happy to. I'm good with it.
And if you don't want to deal with Patreon, or if you already do and want to help out even more, you can go to dconscreen.com and click the donate button, and that just takes you right to PayPal. And if you want to support the show and get some swag for it, you can check out our merch store linked on dconscreen.com right next to the donate button. It says store. You can't miss it. Actually, I think if you're on like a phone, you have to hit like a drop down menu, but it's right there.
So you can miss it, but
You can pretty
within
easily
reason.
miss it. Yeah.
Should be totally workable.
And you can always leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts for free, and that always helps. And by the way, we do have a couple of reviews, new reviews, 5-star reviews, both of them.
Oh, sweet.
It's Jess K has a review titled "True Fans" and says favorite part is the fact that the hosts are fans of the media, but not blind fanboys that think there could be no wrong. I enjoy the realistic and relatable perspectives. Highly recommend.
Nice. Thank you.
And Vermilion One posts this with a this 5-star review with a subject line, because the body. Do you want to know a secret? You really got a hold on me. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. Sounds of laughter, shades of life are ringing through my open ears, inciting and inviting me. Nowhere, man, please listen. You don't know what you're missing. And our friends are all aboard. Many more of them live next door, but of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. We're sorry, but it's time to go. Oh, I will return. Yes, I will return.
It's just, hold on. I'm going to put everything down. Fantastic.
I thought you'd like that one.
And you know the sad part, and between because and do you want to know a secret, I was already like, really? It may have become obvious to some of our listeners who your favorite band is. Yeah. But I have a sickening obsession. I'm comfortable with it. I can live with it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm good with it. All right. So there's a whole bunch of Zack Snyder's Justice League stuff, and most of it's really exciting and stuff that I really want to geek out about and have fun with. But before we do that, I do want to say something. I want everyone listening out there I want you to understand what exactly is happening right now. On the 31st, this guy, Robert Meyer Burnett of the Burnett Work, which, by the way, I love that name. I didn't know he existed until just a few days ago.
Solid pun work, though.
I know. I always enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call punalingus. Burnett, over on YouTube, uploaded a video called "Why Does the Snyder Cut Now Exist as a 4-Hour Movie?" And he goes on in the video to describe, 1, how the Snyder Cut is now a 4-hour movie exclusively and not a series, and 2, why several entities, including producer, film executive, screenwriter, and current chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures Group, Toby Emmerich, want Zack Snyder's Justice League to fail. And by the way, this is also we've been seeing this all over Twitter. And, I reached out to my source who says, oh yeah, I've been hearing this for a while now. So according to Burnett and my source, and we've heard this part of the reasoning before, the Snyder Cut is now not a series because of contracts being too costly, having to make new contracts for and pay for all the actors being in individual mini episodes, or mini series episodes. And when you release a new format, things get complicated contractually really quickly.
It literally changes the contract because new media is still classified as new media. But I give it this. That is a plausible sounding explanation for why things would get complicated at least. Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing, though, is even if, or I might even say especially if the miniseries makes the likelihood of profitability increase, like say if they stuck it in the middle of a 2-month period, that means HBO Max subscriptions are going to jump over 2 months instead of 1 month or something,
Right.
So I would say maybe even especially if the miniseries makes the likelihood of profitability increase, Emmerich is not going to want to do that because he does want it to fail. And the reasoning there is that if it is a huge success critically and financially, or either, anything will do really, it makes Emmerich and several other people look like complete fools. Because Justice League's initial release in theaters was a huge disappointment on every front. It is maybe Emmerich's biggest failure. And if Snyder pulls this out and it's a success, Emmerich and Hamada, man, they have egg on their face to say the least.
Well, definitely.
Because this is everything they thought was wrong.
like what's put us in this position is that I would argue that it wasn't a complete failure as the problem. It made just enough money to justify itself. And the critic reviews were terrible, but the fan reviews were pretty so-so. Like it did better than, I mean,
I won't say the fan reviews. I say the audience reviews.
Yeah, audience reviews. Sadly, those are different measures. But it did just well. It was, when I say the word tepid response, you know what I mean?
But
tepid doesn't mean what people think it means. It doesn't mean terrible. It means like extremely lukewarm to the point of staleness.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not good nor bad, but it doesn't really like lean on the good part.
Right.
It's just like there's just enough rope that they can justify what they did. With this coming out, and if it does well enough that it embarrasses them, yeah, I could totally buy this narrative.
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe it. It would explain Warner Brothers Pictures, and believe me, people have been noticing. Warner Brothers has been dragging their feet promoting Zack Snyder's Justice League on social media. When HBO Max, WarnerMedia, and AT&T are going full force, like Zack puts out a thing, they're all retweeting it, you know?
Fucking Subway puts out a thing.
Yeah, and then it's like a day or two later, Warner Brothers Pictures retweets it. You know?
Like, well, I guess this is happening.
And it would also very much explain the very specific wording in that Hamada article a few weeks ago that went out of its way to describe Zack Snyder's Justice League as a cul-de-sac that leads nowhere.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to discredit the movement. They're trying to discredit the content. They're trying to save their own asses, or, you know, at the very least, trying to polish their asses enough to make them easier to save. So,
no, I enjoyed that part of like the moment the whole cul-de-sac concept came out. You know, we were there that weekend. You saw like "Restore the Snyderverse" was the hashtag.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
and
no one was buying it in a certain way. I mean, and shit, I've not bought my share of shit and faced the consequences. I'm not buying anything at this point. Yeah, I am totally happy to believe that we're being manipulated into thinking that like, well, you know, I know you won this one, but that's all you're going to get. Well, fucking let's fight again and see what happens.
Right. Now, at this point, I'm going to rant a little bit, and I like to think that there is not...
Do what you do.
I would like to think that there is not one person in our audience that needs to hear this, but I'm probably wrong. So, look, man, it is of the utmost importance that all of us, everyone who wants Zack Snyder's Justice League to succeed, who wants more DC content from Zack Snyder, who wants to support Zack Snyder's vision, it is important for us to band together. The hashtag is us united. So what I'm seeing, though, are a whole lot of Snyder Cut enthusiasts attacking people who have become prevalent voices in the movement, who wants to slight Snyder's take on the characters. You know, people who didn't really dig it. There are people editing together videos with lots of dramatic music over screenshots of old tweets, you know, trying to showcase hypocrisy. There are influencers out there who used to dislike Snyder vehemently, and they've changed their minds. They've looked at the movement. They've looked back at the movies and said, you know what? I was wrong about this. I think this is really dope, and I'm excited. And I'm excited about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because it's okay for people to change their minds.
Hi, I'm Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Just thought that'd be a good time to interject personally.
So people are allowed to change their minds about any number of things. I don't know. I used to like green beans. I don't like green beans anymore. I can't
didn't like bananas for the longest time. We're good now.
You're right.
I didn't like chicken salad. I'm from Alabama. That's not even supposed to be legal.
Yeah, well, it depends on the chicken salad. That's a tangent. We can't get off on that. So, these people are being attacked. They're being bullied on social media by hateful Snyder fans who are saying they don't deserve the cut. They shouldn't celebrate. They don't have the right. They haven't been there since the beginning. And honestly, we need every voice we can. If there is a 1% chance that this Emmerich story, that these rumblings about him trying to sabotage the cut is true, we have to take it as an absolute certainty. We need every positive voice we can for the movement. We shouldn't be turning people away from the Snyder Cut because they didn't rise and fall at every word spoken or written by Zack Snyder since he made his first car commercial. I mean, you should be embracing these people, right? Like, you should welcome them to the fight, you know, welcome them to the community. And the sad part, though, is that so many of these assholes are throwing money at suicide prevention, buying up Ink to the People t-shirts, patting themselves in the back so hard, but then they go and bully people and make their lives a living hell. And if you can't connect the dots, in my younger years, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I actually seriously contemplated suicide a number of times because of the same kind of, vitriolic, unwavering bullying from online groups. So be nice, and let's make this thing a success. Yeah. Anything to add, man?
No, that's. I think I 100% support this message, and
that's good.
I say that as
or the show's over.
People who, I'm very clearly one of the people who just said this will never happen. That being said, yeah, of course, I always said I want it to, but yeah, I didn't think it would. I would fight anyone who says that at this point I don't deserve to enjoy it because shit, man.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's biting off your nose to spite your face. It's stupid.
Yeah, and also if the current status of things has taught us nothing as a group. Surely what it has taught us is that if we work together, we can actually accomplish something. And if we don't, the people in charge can kind of divide us into groups and make decisions for us that will not behoove us. Hence the theatrical cut.
Yep. All right.
They wanted to cut No Man's Land, for God's sake. Like, this goes back a while.
I know.
I
know. It makes no sense.
I mean, Reddit took down Wall Street this week. For God's sake, man. We can make this happen.
That's true.
We just, we do have to get on the same page a little bit. And I agree, the clout chasing is bullshit. But despite my history, I would agree with that comment. Yeah, like we've got to, if we can find a way to actually like galvanize ourselves and get in the same page and get in the same direction. Clearly, now historically, there is precedent that we can make some change.
Yeah, I think so.
There are still a couple people involved with Warner Brothers that would rather we eat ourselves. And hopefully we can come together enough to tell them to fuck themselves.
That'd be fantastic.
Actually, you know what'd be great? Is if Emmerich walked out of the studio with his little, like, that little cardboard box they give you, the banker's box thing, when you take your family photos and the one award you bought, or actually, I was going to say brought, and I slipped, and for him, I said bought, and that actually makes more sense. And you take all that out, and while he's doing that, just as a movement, we stand outside and play the version of Come Together that was in the theatrical cut, just for irony's sake. Because it's actually still a pretty fun song by itself. Despite everything that's happened. It's a good song. It's a good cover. I'm just going to sit outside and play that. I'll bring an amp and play the riff my damn self.
I wonder how that would go down.
You just show me where he's walking out.
All right. So let's get to fun stuff, if you don't mind.
I do not.
Not that we didn't make that kind of fun. A little bit, anyway.
Hopefully.
Man, this is brand new. It wasn't at the top of the list. It got there real quick. Zack Snyder released a picture of Joker.
Oh, yeah. That was really nice.
I mean, he's all blurred out. And it's so funny because at this point, I'm seeing people like, man, he looks like Joaquin. Man, he looks like Ledger. Oh, man, he looks bald. Oh, no, he doesn't look bald. He looks like he's got the long hair. Oh, man. It's so ambiguous. Like, Zack, such a tease, man.
Oh, I know.
Everybody's seeing something a little different. And I think it's cracking me up.
Just to round it out, it's so blurred that in a way it reminded me of like the death of the family, Joe's Garage, like detached face version.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that one. But that's cool.
Well, it's very, very likely wrong. I will go on record as saying certainly wrong. I'm just saying that's what occurred to me.
But yes, it's black and white. He's holding up the Joker card. The Joker card's got the blood spackles on it. Hey, that's my shit. I'm dope.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah. And for anyone to get me excited about a Joker that I have traditionally been relatively meh on is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But then I'm also really excited about the prospect of an Ayer cut, because I'm like, yeah, let's see more of him. Let's see how he was originally supposed to be shown, you know? Because I think that a ton of the stuff that was changed was like how abusive and codependent their relationship was.
Yeah,
Joker
those
and
were the
Harley's.
early reports.
So anyway, looks like the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League is officially complete.
Sweet.
That's a big load off my heart.
All of those millions have come to fruition. We have a film, people.
And apparently he's going to get the full movie release treatment. Apparently he's going to have a soundtrack on Water Tower Music, a curated collection from Warner Brothers Consumer Products available exclusively through the DC shop, and an immersive at-home dining experience in the US and UK with Wonderland at Home, whatever the hell that means.
I don't know. But what you're telling me is that I need to put like $140 aside for the vinyl.
Internationally,
minimum? Probably minimum 140.
I don't think that much, but internationally, Zack Snyder's Justice League will debut exclusively on HBO services in Europe across the Nordics, Central Europe, Spain, and Portugal, and on the HBO Go service in Asia. In Latin America, Zack Snyder's Justice League will premiere exclusively on HBO Max, where the service launches in the market later in 2021. And they also released an official synopsis. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince, with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. The task proves more difficult than Bruce imagined, as each of the recruits must face the demons of their own pasts to transcend that which has held them back, allowing them to come together, finally forming an unprecedented league of heroes. Now united, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, The Flash may be too late to save the planet from Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid and their dreadful intentions.
That's glorious.
Yeah,
that's just fantastic.
I don't remember them dealing with their pasts and stuff and the theatrical.
No,
did we have anything to announce about that? Are we gonna do like commentaries? We haven't hammered out those details.
We haven't hammered out the details. No, we're going to do something, either commentaries or I don't know. I'm not sure. We're trying to figure out exactly.
I shouldn't have mentioned it.
No, that's fine too. We haven't hammered out the details is all.
Yeah, no, we haven't. And I think to differentiate from our already created reviews, maybe we should do commentaries for Patreon,
because we already have the commentaries or the reviews. I mean, also open to suggestions.
Yeah,
but I guess that's where we're leaning. We just hadn't worked out exactly what to do with that yet.
Yep. So, and they got an official release date, March 18th.
I love that we're like 40 minutes in and we're like, oh yeah. And
a lot of stuff has happened.
You know, more like March 18th, I guess.
18th. Because Zack released these posters, 3 posters, all black and white.
They were sick as shit, man. Those were fantastic.
The first one he captioned Fallen, not Fallen. I don't know why I put a D on the end sometimes. Fallen.
That's what's going to happen when Jimmy Fallon loses his show. Fallen?
Fallon, yeah.
Or just be Fallon, but with PH gone. Anyway.
So it's a really neat image. It's like a Shattered Justice League logo, but it is like Scott from Squadcast pointed out how it was like reversed. It's the reversed image from like the shiny color photo of the logo from the theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one, this is Risen, and it's a hunk of junk with a tattered Justice League sign.
Mm-hmm.
Very reminiscent of the Death of Superman tattered cape cover of Superman 75.
Yeah.
Super dope. I think out of all of them, that's the one I would want on my wall.
Yeah, it's iconic as fuck.
And then Reborn, which is rubble, and then film canisters that say Justice League Snyder on it.
Yeah.
All dope.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Then Zack released this image of Cyborg with his flight helmet, and he's flying. There's a cool little screen flare, and there's a quote on the picture. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
The quote is, "There's a war coming," and then underneath the quote, it is attributed to Martian Manhunter.
Oh no! Yeah, I've seen that. It's all right. Yep. I have.
I was so excited to see that.
Yeah.
And then
I like the idea that
Scott.
he's just been there this whole time, standing guard a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Scott of Squadcast, Mr. Scott McClellan, salt of the earth, doing God's work because, man, those Vero comments are so hard to get through. Dug around and found where Zack had answered some questions. And this person says, we see Cyborg in the upgraded suit in the nightmare scene. Thank you for making my dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by upgraded suit, there is, I'm not even sure we've ever talked about it on the show, but there's concept art, a lot of concept art that features Cyborg in like the sort of the nightmare future, I guess. And he's got 4 arms. This dude has his normal arms. Then he's got another arm that has the sonic cannon, it looks like. And then there's another one that's got 4 fingers on it. And it's been pointed out that the Apocalyptian characters in the concept art have 4 fingers as well. That's a really neat little, piece of detail, I think, to throw in there. So this person asked, will we see the upgraded suit in the nightmare scene? Zack replies, 4 arms. And I'm so friggin' excited about that. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if I've said it on the show already. A couple weeks ago, I hurt my back pretty bad. Like, I have been, there were like 2 or 3 days where I was just like stuck in bed and couldn't get out or could very seldom get out. I was pissing in a bucket for a minute. It was bad. I was having horrible back spasms and I would just scream because it was so bad. When I saw Zack Snyder, when I saw Zack Snyder say 4 arms, I let out a scream. My wife asked me if I was okay. She thought
it was poorly timed.
It was a few days. It was like 2 days after I'd actually gotten in to see the chiropractor. Like, I'd had an appointment, couldn't get in because I couldn't get out of bed. Right. Managed to get out of bed to get to a chiropractor. It had gotten better. I hadn't had a real bad spasm in a couple days. And then I let out that
You
scream.
called a schedule and then you're like, when does the crane arrive? Oh, you don't have a crane. Oh, right. Then sorry, doc. I will not fucking make it.
Yeah.
You douche.
It was bad. Yeah. It was bad. 4 arms. Very excited about that. And I couldn't help but think, and damn it, I asked him on Vero and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. But I've seen the SKU numbers for the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, and there's a Cyborg with helmet and Cyborg without helmet. And I'm like, do that helmeted version of Cyborg have the 4 arms? Because I want the nightmare. I want the nightmare Cyborg. Todd, help.
Is it quadrupus? I guess. Quadrupus Cyborg.
Sure. Someone asks Zack, how much screen time? How much screen time would you estimate Cyborg actually uses that Cyborg helmet in flight or battle? Zack says he uses it when he's crashing through things face first. That would be problematic without a helmet.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
That's why I included it. It's not even like
I don't know. When he's like shoving his face into giant space beings. Sometimes he decides that a helmet would be better.
The thing, that's not, it seems intuitive. I can see people just like scoffing and going, "Well, that was for a toy." And to be fair, I do have a helmeted Cyborg toy from the first release. It's over on my shelf. Yeah, but I do. I thought just Zack's response was so funny because it absolutely makes sense. Like, why not? Why wouldn't he?
Like if you were parachuting and you realized you were about to fall through a plane, would you prefer a helmet?
Right. He's a superhero. He's not supposed to have a helmet. No.
I think I'd have a helmet.
Yeah, I'd have a helmet.
Sorry, bro. Gotta put the helmet
on. And finally, of course, does Cyborg say booyah in your cut? Zack says, hell no. And, there seems to be a rampant misunderstanding from certain members of the quote-unquote fan community. People, if I'm being honest, mostly angry young white men who grew up watching Teen Titans and don't remember that the first 30 years of Cyborg's existence, he didn't say booyah at all.
Yeah, that was a new part of it.
So there seems to be a lot of people that says, "Look at how proud he is. Look at how proud he is that he's throwing the character out." Well, the character isn't saying booyah. If anything, that kind of diminished the character in some regards. And just the fact that you think that the character is the phrase booyah, it kind of makes me feel like,
let's say it dumbs it down in a problematic way.
Yeah, in a problematic way. That's a good way of putting it. And I completely stand by Ray Fisher not wanting to say that shit, because that is totally like something that every black character in every mainstream action movie would say.
Yeah, no. It feels super black to say it.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Like, I'm not against, Wade saying it on Titans, if he's down with it, do him, if he's fine with it, because that's Doom Patrol's not Titans, Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's got like a completely different tone, and when he says it, it doesn't feel like the same as Titans does.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all nuanced in a way that's like, the tone is very special and different in nuance.
Yes.
So you can't take one instance of something and translate it to the other specifically. The background of what the show's done and how they portrayed a character matters a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And especially in the case of Ray Fisher, if you were just being forced to say the thing that you didn't think. My biggest problem with it is that it's not like Ray Fisher was being asked to, say a tagline from a character that has always been known. It's that he was being asked to say a tagline from a character that isn't necessarily comic accurate, while everyone else on his crew was being asked to do the comic accurate version.
Mm-hmm.
And not even in the WB versions or the Warner Brothers. Not even in the Warner Brothers executive critiques, but more necessarily in the fans version, where everyone has to be comics accurate, except this part where we don't remember it except here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comics accurate
for
him to be a booyah guy.
It is also not comics accurate for Batman to be completely opposed to killing 100% of the time.
Yeah, I know.
But because a bunch of people watch Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah. That's
these things matter.
They do. They matter in the engaged conversation of characters that are 82 years old and subtract back from that.
Kryptonite came from the radio show.
Yeah. It's not. All right, so these characters have been around forever, and the unfortunate part about being fans of it in this day and age is that if you want to have any kind of like black and white view of the thing, you just don't get away with that anymore. So the versions of the characters that we see matter because they happen in a time and place, and we have to acknowledge when they're happening. And if you want to just say like that's cool, but I just want to watch my fantasy thing, that's fine too. But there's also like in one version that's perfectly fine. You can have no filter and just watch it in the fantasy thing, and that's great. But when it pulls back a little bit and people have opinions on the thing about how they affect their lives, because, by the way, again, 82 and subtract whatever character's age old that I'm talking about, it's really not even 82. It's like 90. But anyway, you subtract whatever of the century fucking old characters that we're talking about, and you're going to have to eventually have an opinion if someone wants to actually make this a social conversation or a media conversation or a political conversation or whatever. Eventually, you're going to actually have to have an opinion one way or the other about certain things, and it's fine to back off and not to some extent. To other extents, when we have like Ray Fisher trying to call shit out, no, it's not okay. You need to actually kind of have his back on this one because he's right. And the things he's calling out are accurate. They are not like, this is not a falsification. There's legitimacy to what he's saying. You have to actually be able to listen to that part too.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from the things you enjoy also.
And by the way, Ray Fisher, has said he doesn't care if dude from Doom Patrol says, Jovian Wade, I think is his name, says booyah. And he's even said he would be on Doom Patrol if he had an interesting scene to play with the guy, like a multiverse type of situation. And, I have a freaking McFarlane action figure of the Teen Titans animated version of Cyborg. I like that version of the characters, but they're fun and they're goofy and it's a completely different tone. And none of them are taken seriously. Yeah. A little more seriously in the first iteration, but if Ray Fisher is uncomfortable saying booyah, And Zack Snyder is uncomfortable having him say it.
Then
It's
the
not
executives don't get to make that decision.
Right. It's not the worst damn thing in the world for him not to say booyah. Like, I don't think any little kids are going to be sitting there watching this R-rated 4-hour Justice League and going, we didn't say booyah. They're probably going to be going, why is there so much
Where is my
death
mommy?
and where is there so much death and blood?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It just seems like, what
Mommy,
was
what's
the
a
Batman
dictator?
Anyway, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Apparently, the BVS remaster is finished.
I'm generally looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm the only thing I'm not looking forward to is actually upgrading any of the equipment I have to watch it, like in a way that will do it justice.
I don't know that that's possible necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll see how it all plays out. Let's see. They've revealed the fully armored Darkseid on a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
They've got in the DC Comics store. They've got Zack Snyder's Justice League shirts. They've got freaking Darkseid. They've got Steppenwolf. They've got Superman. It all looks dope to me. And buying this merch is an important part of supporting the cut. So if you're in a financially viable way to do so, I would fully endorse popping over there and grabbing some of that shit.
I also want to push the idea of the Merch Mates thing that Scott's doing. Contact him or the Nerd Queens if you want to help out. But you literally just are buying stuff and shipping it overseas, and it's a coordinated project, and it's a very grassroots kind of thing. But worthwhile. You're getting some merch out that's literally labeled exclusive, and getting out to people that. This cracked me up. Have you seen what the image that DC Comics gives you if you're like from an outside of the U.S. domain?
No,
it's like an angry picture of Mixus Spitlix. Just saying. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing deeply, but it's like he wishes this was different too, and I'm like, he's a fucking fifth dimension, like you make it happen. But
right.
Yeah, if you want to help
I think
out
that's
with
the point. They're like, even Mr. Mixia Spitlick can't have this happen. Even he can't.
Like, go fuck yourself. You're in charge of this. Do not prey on characters you yourself apparently don't understand to justify your actions.
It just
you
needs
could
to
have
be
made
like,
the shipping thing happen.
It needs to just be a picture of teenage Clark from the Donner film saying, "With all my powers, I couldn't save you."
I mean, there's a whole list of stuff like that would make sense. Like, like even Lois Lane just looking like just the back of her head, just being like, I don't have time, and walking off. That would work too. Like, I don't know. I have no idea exactly why. I surmised at some point that there's a pile of money somewhere that justifies why they're not sending merch overseas. I assume it's a contractual thing where they haven't brokered the right deal, so they can't yet, because imports and exports do work that way. So in the meantime, hit me up if you want some links or whatever, but we need some US people to help send some stuff overseas.
I just needed to be like a picture of Superman that says, Superman says, somebody's a dick, but it's not me. We should work for DC Comics.
Yeah. And then they would have shut the entire last 5 minutes down. Oh, we're not doing that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go edit it. My bad.
But you can hit Scott up at Scott DC27 on Twitter. And if you don't know Scott, great dude, very, very nice dude, wonderful DC fan,
absolutely,
very well read individual.
Mm-hmm.
Your IQ will jump just talking to him.
No, stellar dude, outright. And if you don't remember that, just find me somewhere, because I'm sure we're there, or find DC on Screen, and I'll find you the right links to get to these this merch situation.
Yeah,
it's very simple. We're here. We're
DC
allowed to buy
Screen.
it. We buy it. We send it to them. They reimburse you for the thing you sent them. It's theoretically simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're at DC on Screen. Jason's at DuckDuckGoss, I believe.
Yep.
That's what I set up for you on Twitter.
Yeah. So many years ago.
So many years ago, when you were like, I don't want a Twitter. And I'm like, nah, I'm making you one.
Here's
and
one.
for the first like 5 years or so, it was just me like occasionally tweeting funny shit that you said, that I heard you said. I'm like, this should be a tweet.
Yeah.
Usually just something that you said while playing Batman Arkham City.
Yeah, I always remember you got to bring a lunatic as a friend.
You got to bring a lunatic. That was from Asylum, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was from the original.
I like the "Where are you, weeping asshole?" You could just hear someone in an alley somewhere like weeping uncontrollably, and you couldn't find him.
I do remember it was the scorn in my voice that you thought was funny. Like, where are you, weeping asshole? Like, I'm supposed to be helping you, but I was just so mad. Just so mad that I couldn't find you instead. Like I knew the game was going to decide that you weren't important enough to keep that little indicator or soundbite running anymore, and that side quest was going to go away. So I was just deeply mad. Fuck, if I don't find exactly which tiny fucking nook and crevice you're in, and I'm just going to lose you. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. So here's a little piece of news. Ray Fisher is going to be promoting Zack Snyder's Justice League. He says, there's no way you can stop me from doing press for Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, honestly, what at this point, what does he have to lose? Dude spent his entire career on the line just doing what he did. Like, at this point, if he just didn't say he was super excited about a property, why? Like,
no.
Just go for it.
Yeah. So there is a new interview with author Sean O'Connell for his upcoming book, Release the Snyder Cut. And Zack Snyder explained exactly where his head was when he left Justice League. And that's the thing we've wondered about. Like, if Snyder Cut comes out, like, what becomes of that narrative? Because It was very much we have to step back. And Joss is going to take this over. It seemed a lot more amiable originally.
Right.
Zack says, I just was kind of done with it. I was in this place of knowing my family needs more than this bullshit. And I just need to honor them and do the best I can to heal that world. I had no energy to fight the studio and fight for the movie. Literally zero energy for that. I really think that's the main thing. I think there's a different world where I stayed and kind of tried. And I'm sure I could have, because every movie is a fight, right? I was used to that, but I just did not have the energy. There was no fight in me. I had been beaten by what was going on in my life, and I just didn't want to, I didn't care to, that was kind of where I was. Yeah, no, that just sounds like that sounds like the same story, but played on the Black Keys.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that same emotional problem is why, largely why I think we bought it the first time. When we thought it made sense that he just had to step away, and looking back, it was slightly more nefarious than that.
Right.
But, even then, the part that was still going to be true, no matter how you do it, is, dude, that's a lot.
Put over this shit.
Fucking, you don't have energy for that. I can't even imagine.
No, I don't blame him. I do not blame him. Over to Wonder Woman 1984. It was it basically dominated Christmas viewership numbers and the revised Nielsen ratings. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to read this I'm just going to say this pretty straightforward, what they've got written here. Wonder Woman 1984 dominated the week of Christmas 2020 in terms of viewership numbers, according to some revised Nielsen ratings estimates. Nielsen had previously announced that the Disney Plus release of Soul was the top-rated streaming release of the week for December 21st through 27th, but WarnerMedia didn't think those findings sounded right and called for a review. Nielsen and WarnerMedia reviewed the viewership numbers together and came to the realization that indeed a big mistake had been made. Wonder Woman 1984, in fact, outperformed Soul by about 35%, generating almost 2.3 billion minutes of viewing time, which is estimated to be about 14.9 million views. Yeah, so there you go. It was a success. There's also being reported that
it did fine.
84 helped push HBO Max and HBO to 41 million subscribers, reaching forecast 2 years early. Their subscriber base grew to 17.2 million activated users before the end of 2020. According to AT&T, then that number comes after the still young streaming service finally brokered deals with Amazon and Roku to be carried on their popular streaming devices. And by the debut of Wonder Woman 84, the first in a string of theatrical releases that will debut simultaneously on HBO Max. According to AT&T, HBO Max now has 37.66 million subscribers, up from 28.7 million in September. With HBO, the two HBO branded platforms have a combined subscriptions total of 41.5 million as of the end of 2020. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Even at the low number, that's...
They are not doing poorly, as some would have you believe.
That's just so much money.
Yeah.
Just so much money.
But did you watch this new HBO Max trailer?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the new footage from the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, I laughed my dick off.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's really just like, aside from Harley eating an apple, there's really just Idris Elba telling John Cena, nobody likes a show off. And then he's like, unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck. And they cut him off right before that hard K. Yeah. Or that K, I should say. Hard C, K, whatever.
No,
you know what I mean.
I enjoy the idea of the Suicide Squad being just a giant bravado squad, just people showing off to each other the entire time.
Well, it's a little like prison. Your first day, you've got to beat somebody over the head with a chair.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I like that
bitch.
as a premise. Is like, no, it's just this shit's very real, and you got to be a character, or you're not going to survive.
Cool. Yeah, I dig it.
I like it.
I dig it. In a recent interview with CBR, Rick Flag actor Joel Kinnaman says about the movie, I can't wait to see it. When I read the script, like every page of the script made me laugh. It's just the silliest, most violent, and at times it's really moving. Just an absolutely ridiculous story. Honestly, I think people are going to love it. I really do. I think it's going to be a very, very appreciated film.
Yeah, I think it's going to go over really well. I still like him talking about it because he specifically talked about how he didn't really have good comedy chops and he had to learn them to get into this film. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know, man. I appreciate that. I like people pushing the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, man. I hate to say it, but I'm going to throw this into the take it with a grain of salt category. But Screen Daily is reporting that The Flash is on track to begin filming at Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden on April 26th. So, I just kind of don't believe it. Yeah, like it's been too many years, too many people involved. I just we'll see.
No, I mean, with their track record, the caterers won't show up until about October 19th. Mm-hmm. Like dude. Every time I hear it, I want to believe it, but every time I hear it, I think, oh god, it's gotten worse now.
Yeah,
it is the equivalent of a boyfriend or girlfriend who's like, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna stop.
Right.
With this addictive thing I'm doing. Like it's hard. It's hard after a point to believe it.
Yep. And Michelle Pfeiffer, who played Catwoman on Batman Returns, she told Screen Rant, she said, I would come back as Catwoman if anyone asked me, but no one's asked me yet. And which kind of sounds sad, but
I mean, I guess in a way, I'm sure she's fine.
Yeah, I know.
But I would be happy to see her like a quick couple seconds.
I don't want her in The Flash. I'm kind of done with people showing up in Flash for now. Like, I would like it if it was like, if they did like a combination Dark Knight Returns, Batman Beyond project, and we got to see because they did leave her open. Like, she was one of the few villains, I feel like, in the Batman movies who didn't die at the end. Like, well, she did die, but she still had a couple lives left. And she even teases it in Batman Returns, said, gonna save some for next Christmas. And then at the end of the movie, when we see the bat signal amidst the snowy skyline, her head pops up and it's like, oh shit, she's gonna come back. And then she never did.
Right.
And for anyone who's out there going like, she's old, she don't got the chops, look her up, she's still hot.
Nah, she's fine, she'll be all right.
I ain't got no problems.
She legit.
Too legit to quit.
And you took it back to that era so quickly.
I know, man. 1992.
Oh, I'm hearing "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls" all of a sudden.
That's right. That's right, man.
And I swear, by the moon and the cats that ate me, I'll be there when you ask.
Yep.
No matter what jobs I have, I'll be there.
Oh man,
I swear.
Batman Returns. In this movie, the pussies do the eating. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. I should have said that.
You probably didn't even like pitch a porn series. You probably just regurgitated one you accidentally vacuumed up when you were like 18. Just seeing a series of titles somewhere.
No, you know, I
immediately regret the word vacuumed in that sentence.
Right. I think I feel like whatever the voice was in my head that made me say that, it sounded like Kevin Smith. So the adult version of Darla in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Megan Good says that it says, God willing and by the grace of God, Shazam 2 starts in May. So there's that. But COVID's a funny thing. And not really funny, but terrifying and problematic. But it keeps movies from starting and TV shows from starting when they should.
Yeah.
And
even talking about it sounds super Marvel family-esque. Like, yeah, but this... Oh, that sounded bad. My bad. What I really meant was... Oh, that sounded bad too. My bad. What I mean is something very genuine, and that part's true.
Dolph Lundgren says, I may be doing Aquaman 2 this summer. Shooting in London. He says that to
I may be in London at the Hilton Hotel, room 237. Possibly checking in at about 10.
Yeah.
I think 10:39 is my deadline. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Not saying anything.
He said all this on a virtual Wizard World panel on Sunday. He says, and that's coming out the following year in the theaters, they hope. So, yeah, they don't know. Nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
And, you know, normally I wouldn't even bring this up, but hell yeah, I would.
But you're excited. I like it. What you got?
But you know what? I am excited, and also I want to stick it in the faces of the people who keep saying this thing isn't happening or has fallen away. Tom King was talking a little bit about New Gods.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
On comicbook.com's Phase Zero podcast. He was talking about the writing the script with Ava and their similarities. And he says, I want to caveat it because I like to be as honest as possible. You're just going to get crappy platitudes out of me. Working with Ava is a joy. She's incredibly focused on the emotional core of the characters. It's been fun. I've never written a movie before now. I've done some TV. None of it ever comes out. Hollywood's a weird place. But I've done some of that. But this was my first sort of big, huge movie with space battles and all that stuff. It's a ball. As long as we focus on the core Jack Kirby relationships that he created that make it good, it's going to be a good movie. That's where Ava and I both are. And he also, when asked if Mr. Miracle would be in the movie, he says, I don't see how you could do New Gods without Mr. Miracle. It would be a weird movie.
I mean, especially for him.
Yeah. So yeah, he says the movie will fall into the DC is as ambitious as we can make it tone. To give a movie like New Gods to a visionary director like Ava. To me, Jack Kirby and Ava are very similar creators. They come from similar places and they have sort of parallel histories. And I feel like I'm just the person meeting these two people together so they can create something that's unique. I don't know if I'd say it's dark, but it's definitely going to be ambitious. It's going to be her doing her thing. And I'm excited about New Gods, dude. I really am. I hope it gets made.
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still good with it. It has been a while since anything substantial has been said, but I watched that video. King's comments were not. I didn't get any kind of like forcing it, demeanor off him. He seems serious. I'm willing to trust him just based on the demeanor that I saw in that interview. But it looks like this is still going forward, and they've still got really ambitious concerns, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Now, look, no one said this, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone hint at it. Mm-hmm. But I do have a question for you. I know you don't like Granny Goodness.
Nope. But okay.
But what if she was played by Betty White?
Oof. That is going to be an almost complete reversal of my previous problems.
No.
Like Lake Placid ass Betty White just cussing out her fucking...
Oh my God, dude. Have you seen the bloopers for the Hot Ones?
No.
She is
fucking fantastic.
Well, you've got Wendy
Because
Malick.
Betty White is a goddamn badass.
You've got what's her name? Valerie Bertinelli, and you've got freaking Betty White.
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's just I've been seeing it floating around these bloopers, and she'll just forget her line or whatever. People start laughing at her for forgetting her line or whatever. I mean, she's good natured about it and all, but she does not hesitate at telling them, fuck off, bitch. Like, it is one of the funniest blooper reels I've ever seen. Like, she's just killer.
I haven't seen it. Please send it to me immediately, and I will watch it tonight.
I'll see if I can find it.
If not, I will find it my damn self. Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I was laying in bed earlier this week, just like, I've never even heard of this show. I'm just like crying. Just like, there's no way the show is as good as this.
No, that's the funny part. Betty White is like, she's been in show business for so long. We've probably, if I showed you her entire IMDb, you probably recognize like a third of it. She has been employed for like longer than Lincoln's been dead, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she keeps being relevant and just fuck all, just damn it, bitch. You're just on top of this shit kind of lady.
Yep, she's great. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Before we...
A true queen. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. All right, so before we jump over to a break and then subsequently to television and feedback, I do want to let everyone in on all the DC movies and shows coming to HBO Max in February. It is kind of a big list, an exciting list, I would say.
Nice.
So February 1st, HBO Max will have 1989's Batman. It'll have Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Man of Steel comes back to the service on February 1st, as does Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is a fantastic animated series. Great for...
Cannot recommend any of that.
Oh, my Lord. Jesus. Batman the Brave and the Bold. Great for adults, great for children. Everybody should love it. It's got enough gravitas to be, meaningful for adults, and especially people who, remember some of the old Silver Age stuff. But fantastic show.
Just as a guess, I'm going to say like 4+ as far as when they'll kind of start to understand it.
Yeah.
But that is super variable. Every kid's different. Point definitely is for us, watch this with your kids, man. You'll enjoy it just as much as they will. It'll be a bonding experience. It's fantastic. And
they've already got Batman the Animated Series on the service. And I think Batman Beyond is already on there as well. They're adding within that canon the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series.
That's all.
Fantastic.
Throwing that shit out. Fantastic.
And February 5th, they have Aquaman coming back to the service. And I'm really excited about this one because this is one I haven't actually gotten to see. I've seen like the first 5 or 6 episodes. The Batman. It's like 5 seasons of a Batman cartoon I haven't watched.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And this is exciting for some people because this is also in the Batman animated series universe, but it's one that, doesn't really widely show up. Static Shock is coming February 15th. So that's kind of a big deal and a pretty good show. It's worth it just to check out at least to just check out the crossovers, but Dwayne McDuffie did a fantastic job on that show. I think it's a pretty solid superhero show. Yeah. And ties in with literally every series in the Batman animated universe canon.
Oh yeah, it's fully incorporated. Like you're not gonna miss a thing. Just
except for like those few scenes in the first season where they mention Clark Kent as Superman, and somehow Superman's a comic book character. But we could just say a crisis happened in between there.
Very possible.
All right, we are jumping over to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have some interesting news about some television shows and some feedback that will probably be kind of fun.
Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is now Hy-Vee Perks. Hy-Vee Perks members get members-only prices on hundreds of products store-wide every day. Get your free Hy-Vee Perks membership and start saving today. Bananas, Hy-Vee Perks price, 39 cents a pound. Hy-Vee Butter, Hy-Vee Perks price, $2.98. And Tide, Hy-Vee Perks price, $9.97. Make the switch or sign up today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hey, Cricket customers, Max with ads is included with your Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. Nice! Max is the streaming platform where you can watch Scoob, Meg 2 The Trench, The Nightmare on Elm Street collection, and so much more. Remember me. Just log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices.
We've never seen this before.
Max, the one to watch for a good scream with Cricket. Yeah! Phone plan streams in standard definition. Programming subject to change. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
All right, we're back. I've hobbled around, ate some Doritos, got myself another soda. You expelled liquid, as I understand it.
Naturally.
And we have a little bit more to talk about here. So this guy Dylan over on the social medias asked James Gunn, "Do you have any ideas for more Suicide Squad spinoffs?" James Gunn says, "Yes."
That's all I got, bro. Yes.
Hashtag Polka Dot Man the series. That's what I want. You and I, we're a trusted, or I should say, we trust TV Line. It's a pretty good site. And on Matt's Inside Line, someone named Allison asked, "Is Justice League Dark still happening on HBO Max? Because if Swamp Thing is not happening on the CW, that show might have the character." And Matt says, "Yes, I am assured that Justice League Dark is still in development at the streamer." And I was happy to see that. I thought I'd report it, because that's another thing I often hear is that, well, we haven't heard anything. That means it must not be happening. No, it's not true. Just give them a minute.
Give it a minute.
Titans. Big news. Huge news. Titans has cast Tim Drake for season 3. This is the first live action Tim Drake on screen.
Yeah, I'll be there for it.
It's a guy named Jay Lysergo, maybe? I never know how to say names.
Yeah.
Here's the fun thing, though. He is the first crossover star because he is in The Batman. Matt Reeves, The Batman. We've already seen him. He is a member of the face-painted gang that Batman fights in the trailer.
Okay.
That's fun, right?
Gotcha. I like it.
Brent, our buddy Brent from Fans Without Borders and Marvel Squadcast, he says to us, "How excited are you that the best Robin is finally coming to live action?" Pretty damn excited, honestly.
Yep.
I do think,
I know the heavy part of that is best Robin, but man, there are good arguments for that.
Look, man, here's the thing. I grew up in the 90s.
Good arguments for any of them, but damn. Yeah.
Yes, Dick was my first Robin. But my favorite Robin, the Robin that I have almost every issue of his solo series, is Tim Drake. One of the first miniseries I ever bought, technically, really, probably within the first, 20 issues I bought were the Robin 2 series, where Bruce is out of town and he's got to take on the Joker.
Right.
Yes. You know how many times I've quoted that line where he's telling Ives, "I like friends, not a crowd"? Tim Drake is my boy. Okay.
I get it. I really mean there are arguments for any of them. Like even Damien has some upsides that.
Oh, I like Damien. He's fun.
Yeah. Well, the fun part is here's how I characterize him. It's like he was Bruce already as an adult, but trying to have a childhood, as opposed to Bruce as an adult who is, eschewing his childhood.
That's interesting.
Like Damien at times, especially when he gets around Jonathan Kent, he wants to be a kid sometimes. He wants to have a sense of wonder and joy, but he was raised a certain way.
Yeah.
Like adult Bruce and young Damien are at the same point, but at different times.
Yeah, maybe so. He's always reminded me of Alexander from Star Trek The Next Generation, just like tiny Klingon kid who comes to live with his father and tries very hard to be a Klingon warrior.
Yeah.
Except Damien's got the skills to back that shit up. That's the problem.
Except, yes, occasionally Damien can actually physically take Batman in a fight.
And I love, he's so stoic but immature. It remains one of my favorite bits from all of comic book, lore is when he tells Nightwing, Tim, and Jason he's going to find something that they treasure and take it from them, just to prove that he's better than all of them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, damn.
The hell do I even do with that?
I do. I like Damien. I know a lot of people are like, he's a petulant little dick. Well, yes,
And
but
he
that's
is
one
also
of the reasons
that.
I like. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I like him so much.
Also, Jason Todd's an arrogant piece of shit, and he also has his upsides.
No.
Yeah, like, oh god, that we could probably do a whole cast about just how fun the Robins are, as far as they're all in their own way pieces of shit, and in their own way fantastic.
Absolutely. And that, flows beautifully into the next question. Chris Balga of World's Finest True Believer podcast. If you haven't heard that, you should check it out. It's Chris and a guest of the week talking about comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the show. Have you been on the show? You've been on the show, haven't you?
I have, and
Yeah.
fucking enjoyed the shit out of myself.
Yeah, it was a fun show to do.
Oh yeah,
Chris is great. Like I would think he was like a professional, podcaster or broadcaster or something.
Yeah.
So Chris says, do you feel Titans season 3 is too Bat-centric with the additions of Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon, Red Hood, Scarecrow, and moving to Gotham? Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to watch it. I know Batman gets more eyes on the show, but are they leaning into Batman too much? The short answer is no.
yeah. For me, no, I think too. But it's not like it's because it's Teen Titans and they touch on every series and they could do whatever they want, because that's also true. It's just that there were some relationships that worked really well here
Yeah.
that I feel like
look,
leaning into was a good idea.
The thing, though, for me, though, while the short answer is no, the slightly longer answer is that, without, I don't know, going back to, what was it, Gilgamesh and Keto or something, Robin is pretty much the first sidekick. At least he is certainly in comic book lore. So, I mean, and if we're talking about famous, is going to be Robin.
Yeah, definitely famous, and maybe even called sidekick. I'm
Yeah.
sure in the history of things, there's, I forget who even Don Quixote's right-hand dude was, but somebody.
Mm-hmm. But, Robin is the most famous. He was the first comic book sidekick. He is
Sherlock
the
and Watson.
freaking...
Sorry.
Well, sure.
It's blanking on a lot of names right there, but
He was the star of the original Teen Titans comic. He was the template for most, if not all of those initial sidekicks who wound up in the Titans with him.
Right.
So I think the relationship of sidekick and superhero is one of the driving forces, is really important in any iteration of Teen Titans, but specifically this show.
yeah,
And I think
it does feel pretty organic how that works. Yeah,
I think we kind of need that grounding, because we are now seeing with Dick, Jason, Barbara, and Tim, we have 4 very different kinds of personalities come out from the tutelage of the same tough as nails, emotionally unavailable bastard. And that proves, I think, for Dick, who I would argue is the absolute leader of the show, the lead of the show, not leader, to be an interest. I think that would prove for him, through his viewpoint, to be an interesting alternate to measure yourself against.
right.
Like, what's wrong with me? But also, hey, at least I didn't turn out like Jason.
Yeah.
I wish I had turned out like Barbara. Now there's this new kid, I look forward to seeing what all the Bat team members, how they relate to the other Titans. I want to see how Babs relates to Dawn. I want to see, how she relates to Donna when she's resurrected, because that's got to happen.
Oh sure.
And I just love Barbara Gordon anyway. Like, mad crush on Barbara Gordon no matter what. Like, I love Barbara Gordon. So,
Right. Oh yeah.
yeah, man, I'm down with it, and I think it's really important to have. I mean, look, I don't think anyone has more sidekicks than Batman either.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, you and we started writing a comedy sketch one time where the whole thing was just like Batman showing up at an adoption agency with another dead Robin in his arms.
Yeah.
Like, I need another one. Like, do we have a return policy?
Yeah. He was checking his belt to see what day it was. Yeah, I get that. Oh.
Yeah, I kind of just, feel like makes sense. Are you good with that? You want to talk more about it? It feels like you do.
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do Wonder Woman 1984 again, where I'm just like, well, I'm done. Let's end the show, and you're like, well, I haven't talked.
No, I'm good.
I really have. I felt bad about that. Like, I have felt bad about that for weeks now.
I'm sorry.
Like, immeasurable guilt.
No, sorry. That was not necessary. We're good.
I mean, I figure it was bothering me a lot more than you, but that's true of most things.
That's an anxiety thing. That's almost always true, and well, a lot of true.
Yeah. Yeah, we got this guy on like Instagram or Facebook or something on the messages be like, Wonder Woman 1984 was just okay, but it was a lot easier to watch than listening to you bitch about every aspect of it. And I was just like, well, at least I'm honest.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All right, so I was pretty pleased by this. And look, man, The Flash had a new trailer come out. Black Lightning had a new trailer come out. Neither one of them looked particularly interesting to me. I had nothing to say about them. So I didn't include them in the notes. Did you have anything about them? Did you see them?
No, didn't see them. Just haven't had time to care quite yet. I know when the release dates are, and I'm gonna. I just haven't made any brain space for that right now.
Mm-hmm. But they put out a new Superman and Lois trailer.
Yep, saw that.
That looked dope.
Yeah, it did.
I was surprised. It was a complete turnaround from that whatever the hell that thing was they released a few weeks ago. That teaser.
Yeah, that was a weird teaser. I didn't know what to do with that. And then I saw the actual trailer and thought, okay, well, I don't know. It made more sense of the past, but the past itself made no sense to me.
Yeah,
it was a
strange I don't know.
moment.
It actually looks damn cinematic. It looks pretty damn good. I'm flummoxed.
Yeah,
and excited.
Yeah, and just glimpses of some probably really epic shots coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Didn't expect that. After that teaser was weird, man. It threw me off a little bit. I was not excited, then saw that and was very confused, and saw the actual trailer and went back to excited.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see what they're gonna do. I hope it leans more into real storytelling and not just Freak of the Week or whatever weird format Supergirl has fallen into, where sometimes it's really great and then sometimes it's just, what are we doing here?
I don't know. They go in arcs a little bit. It's
they do.
Yeah, but they do it's hard. It's hard to describe. They do it intentionally, and then the reception of those arcs has a different shape.
Yeah.
It would be funny if they just did the Monster of the Week thing for 10 years, and just like Smallville on the same network.
So the most interesting thing aside from just the look of the show, which, like I said, very cinematic. It looks like someone who had seen a Larry Fong movie is making this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna go so far as to say it looks like Larry Fong shot it or anything, but but I'm really interested in this, because right in the trailer they're already teasing the fact that Clark's kids, feel somewhat betrayed by the notion that he's Superman. They're just like, dude, we've seen Superman. How are you Superman? You're not Superman,
right? How
could you have kept this shit from us? To which I would love it if his response was, "You little bastard, you didn't exist 2 weeks ago." Hashtag crisis, bitch.
Right.
But no, I'm excited to see what they do with the show. Speaking of being excited, my lord, they announced at least some of the Sandman cast for Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I can't say most of these names. The names I can say.
I've seen the same list. I recognized, I think, no one.
Right. And, I noticed some people.
But I will say they looked really good.
Vivian Achimpong as Lucian. Sanjeev Bhaskar as Kane. Asim Chaudhry as Abel. Charles Dance is going to be Roderick Burgess. Boyd Holbrook as the Corinthian, and Tom Sturridge as Dream, and the big the really inspired choice, in my opinion, Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer.
Okay. Like I said, seeing all of it made sense. Explain it to me.
Gwendolyn Christie, and I didn't know her until a couple weeks ago. She's on Game of Thrones. I had to look up some clips and everything, and because I didn't really know her. She's done Hunger Games and a few other things. Man, I think she's gonna kill it. I really do. Okay. Based on looking up some of her stuff, I think it's really neat. A really neat concept, and more closely resembles the Lucifer in Sandman in the books.
All right.
And now this smallscreen.co.uk site reported Taron Egerton as John Constantine, and then someone on named Anne Rice Lover on on Twitter.
This has gotten so wonderfully weird.
I know. He tweeted Neil Gaiman and said the Sandman won't be connecting to Lucifer. And then he says Tom Ellis is the devil. Plus Matt Ryan isn't returning as Constantine. How much did Netflix screw up this whole thing? And Neil Gaiman responded, like a person with class, like he always does. He says, you can't get from Lucifer TV series to Sandman #3 or even Season of Mists, and we haven't yet announced the casting of Constantine. That article is just confusing the TV version with Audible.com.
All right.
Which, by the way, that has been picked up for 2 more seasons if anyone's interested.
That's, yeah, I am.
And then on Tumblr.
Pretty fantastic.
On Tumblr, Gaiman says, the theology and cosmogony of Lucifer is a long way from Sandman's. It's inspired by Sandman, but you can't easily retrofit the Lucifer version to get back to Sandman, if you see what I mean. It seemed easier and more fun to have the Sandman version of Lucifer be, well, much closer to the Sandman version of Lucifer. Which, look, I would have been happy if they found a way to make it work with Tom Ellis. I'm pretty damn excited about this too. And look, if Neil Gaiman says, I want this thing to be different than the other thing that I created, okay.
Yeah. Every version sounds actually pretty good.
It's Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Dry your eyes, mate.
I have learned to trust him.
Do you see this Justice Society World War II trailer?
I did.
What did you think?
Looks like it's going to have some really fun moments.
That's about all I felt.
I mean, just not super engaged in the material overall, but some of the shots looked really fun.
I'm a bit troubled by the animation. It's that same animation it looks like the same style of animation from that Man of Tomorrow or whatever it was they released last.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And it wasn't even that I didn't like that animation. It was just I didn't really like that movie. It was kind of boring to me. So just it looking like it makes me kind of go, it puts a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But we'll see. I'll watch it. And I think Wonder Woman looks funny and weird, like the way they've got her hair.
I mean,
her head looks like a misshapen bean.
I didn't see that, but now I'm curious.
It just looks weird, man. I don't know.
The most standout thing was watching her do that little like head nod when she just like dodges a missile, or whatever the fuck you call that I assume comes out of Nazi tanks.
Yeah.
There are parts of this that looked pretty fun, looked pretty good.
Yeah, and I know what they're doing,
but I don't know.
I know what they're doing with her hair and her head shape. I mean, she looks like she came out of the old Golden Age Wonder Woman books. So I mean, I'm not necessarily shitting on it or anything. I'm just saying they went a little far with it, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
It looks a little funny. Harley Quinn seasons 1 and 2 are coming to Blu-ray in February. So if anyone's interested in that, that's of interest. It's a Warner Archive title, so I think the DVD is being released in retail, but the combo Blu-ray is going to be Warner Archive. And here's a weird thing, and it's not on screen, but it is tangentially related. Jeffrey Wright, the guy playing Gordon on Matt Reeves' Batman, is going to play Batman in Batman: The Audio Adventures, a new podcast from HBO Max.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the vocals there.
Yeah, the podcast comes from veteran Saturday Night Live writer Dennis McNicholas. It will be a comedic take on Batman, and it will air on HBO Max in multiple parts in 2021 at some point. Now check out this cast though. Chris Parnell, Seth Meyers, Brent Spiner, John Leguizamo, Ike Barinholtz, Bobby Moynihan, Kenan Thompson, Rosario Dawson, Jason Sudeikis, Alan Tudyk, Brooke Shields, Paul Scheer, Tim Meadows, Fred Armisen, Ray Wise, Ben Rogers. Dude, there's Toby Huss, the dude who played freaking Artie, the strongest man in the world on The Adventures of Pete and Pete, is going to be in this thing. Great, iconic voice.
I don't. That's the best cast you've ever read.
I know.
I don't know where to start here. Like, I feel like I should take a second and reinterpret that. But Jesus fucking Christ, that's impressive.
Well, you said that. You sounded Irish.
I can't look like that when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, man, like that. All I had seen previous to you reading me that list is that Jeffrey Wright was going to be Batman on, an official cast. Yeah. I'm assuming on Spotify because I think that was the recent hookup.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but yeah,
isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take some time. I feel very happy right now in a way I can't completely process.
I mean.
That was just a lot of joy I experienced all at once.
Yeah, it's a fantastic group of people.
Ooh. When you got to Brent Spiner, I really went to a different place entirely and had to process that and come back. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Let's get to listener feedback here. Matthew Salvatore. We've already talked about some in this episode, by the way. So we're applicable. Mm-hmm. Matthew Salvatore says, what is the best Easter egg in a DC movie? And I feel like I need to give you that question to answer first. What do you think?
Best Easter egg? That's rough. It's still the Omega symbol. No,
and BVS?
Easter egg. Yeah, it's not even an Easter egg. Oh, that's a tough card.
I have my answer, but it's completely, totally based on the emotion I felt at the time. If I looked through and like really dug around, probably even if just thought for half a second, I could come up with an Easter egg that was, better in most ways.
Okay.
But for me, the first thing I thought of was Batman Forever when Bruce talks about being halfway to Metropolis by now. And as a kid, I was just like, holy shit, Metropolis is a thing. Superman is real in this universe. And it was just like such an overwhelming feeling of gratification.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go with that one. That's just me personally. Nothing will ever top that. Crisis on Infinite Earths didn't top that for me. Even though it was far and away way better. Like if I had known as a kid that there was going to be that John Wesley ship was going to be hanging out with Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
And then Ezra Miller was going to show. No. Oh my God. I would have been that one would be it. But since it wasn't, and these things never interacted on screen in any kind of live action capacity at that time, yes, Bruce Wayne mentioning Metropolis in a garage full of motorcycles is my favorite Easter egg. Yeah. All right. One more piece of feedback we've got here from Eli Hernandez. He says, on the itchy and scratchy CD-ROM, is there a way to get out of the dungeon without using the wizard key?
What the hell are you talking about?
You're a lifesaver, Jason. I can't deal with these hardcore fans. Anyway, I think that does it for this episode of DC On Screen. Thank you so much for listening. DCOnScreen.com for all the things for blog posts that show you where episodes should be. But sometimes aren't.
But they're getting there.
They're getting there.
Wasn't our fault that they're not there.
When you've done when you've done like 550 episodes and then you switch services, sometimes that don't work out well.
Sometimes there are consequences on the back end.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, consequences on the back end sounds like a really nice way of saying pain in my ass.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty precisely what I intended.
Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for listening. And there, we should have a new Patreon episode up very soon, because we did do a little bit of a warm up before this episode started. So we didn't even mean to; it just happened. So anyway, until next time, keep some DC on your screen and be kind to each other. Damn it, y'all. Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.
Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is now Hy-Vee Perks. Hy-Vee Perks members get members-only prices on hundreds of products store-wide every day. Get your free Hy-Vee Perks membership and start saving today. Bananas, Hy-Vee Perks price, 39 cents a pound. Hy-Vee Butter, Hy-Vee Perks price, $2.98. And Tide, Hy-Vee Perks price, $9.97. Make the switch or sign up today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.